What's up, everybody? It's me, the G, Hunter Avalone here, joined again with my wife.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday.
Today, your favorite couple is here to once again talk about Paul and Morgan. Paul and Morgan uploaded a video a couple months ago talking about Lecrae and abortion and a bunch of other nuanced issues, so you can bet your sorry booty that there was absolutely no nuance given in the commentary from Paul and Morgan.
The best that they said was basically that it's something to consider.
What is?
The nuance. That's literally all they said, but
They just said it was... Consider that there could be some nuance here.
Lecrae said, "What if the Christians who want to reduce the number of abortions, supported funding health care for women, dealt with the systemic racism that creates poverty for women of color, and addressed the income gap between white people and people of color?"
Face Lecrae coming out with those Christian-based takes. I love it.
This is all pretty legit stuff, honestly. Of course, they have a problem with it because it actually makes sense. But what he's talking about here is, it's like a pretty basic idea of addressing the systemic racism, which like put black people disproportionately in poverty to begin with. Mm-hmm. So his overall message here is pretty good. The only thing I could see them taking issue with is how he says, like, what if Christians, like, maybe they think that's, like, sassy or something?
No, he's just saying, Christians are disproportionately the ones who want to reduce abortions.
Sure. True.
So it makes 100%. He's also a Christian, right? So it's not like Christians. He's actually saying, like, what if Christians who want to reduce the number of abortions actually start addressing these in a way that will actually help reduce the number of abortions?
The way he chooses to word it is quite interesting. Read the very just opening.
What if the Christians who want to reduce the number of abortions...
What if the Christians... There's already, in my opinion, some...
Like...
What if the Christians...
They're so offended.
What is this snowflakery? I was literally trying to be charitable by suggesting that maybe they felt it was sassy, and they actually took that route. Are you serious right now? What if the Christians... Look at her face, by the way. Why? You're right. Lecrae is a Christian. He's not... It's not like he's an atheist being like, haha, isn't it funny and ironic how Christians don't do yada yada? Like, he is a Christian. He's speaking as a Christian to other Christians.
Right. And isn't that, like, literally what like, the New Testament is about? You had, like, Christians speak to other Christians and saying, this is what you should do. This is how you should view things. And they're getting mad, like, what if they're Christians?
I know. They're, like, so offended just by the wording of his tweet.
What if the Christians who, and then the next part, want to reduce the number of abortions?
Yeah.
Want to reduce. And I guess, that's fair. He can use that word. Mm-hmm. We want to end abortion.
Yeah, reduce is not the right word.
Dude, okay. Do we need to explain this to them? Hey, buddy, youth group pastor, excuse me. You realize that reducing abortion is the first step in ending abortion, right?
This is such an idealistic way of looking at it. It's like, how do you think you're going to end abortion, right?
Right.
What are you advocating for? He gave you like 10 different practical ways to reduce abortion.
All of which have been shown to work, by the way.
How are you advocating to end it? Overturn Roe versus Wade, which is very unlikely to happen.
John's response was, should murder be legalized as long as we feel we are working to reduce the occurrence of it?
This is not his argument. He never said anything about ending it. He said if you want to reduce it, then we need to start taking those measures. He never said anything about...
He also never said he wants to...
legal.
Yeah, he also... Exactly. He never said anything
about keeping it legal.
Nothing.
It's a flawed argument, Sean. I'm sorry.
Whoever this Sean guy is. Sean
Wait,
Fettuccine.
isn't he... Okay, I think this guy actually got in a lot of drama because of, like, a Christian drama. I don't even know. I don't even remember why.
Stand for life, period. It's like stand for life except for the solutions.
That's okay. You can stand for life. You can be pro-life, and that's totally okay. Even if you believe that abortion should be 100% illegal, that's idealism. It's fact. You might like say that that's the way it should be, and that might be 100% true, but up until that point, if you stand for life, shouldn't you also stand for reducing abortions?
John he is a bold man. He's bold, on fire, bold. Like, he's not gonna shy back from any.
Help me.
Am I the only one that thought that frame out of context looks really creepy? Hold on,
We
wait.
should have that as a thumbnail.
He's not gonna shy back from
Why are you aggressively moving your arm, buddy, and straining like that?
any.
You are the man.
I feel like she's also like, what the heck?
Can we skip, please? Also, our video's blocking, but they have a dog here. She's not just talking to her second imaginary friend.
Lecrae's tweet, like, don't get us wrong. Like, we hear what he's saying. But I think...
Notice how they say this in every video. They're like, we see the other side while peddling their bullshit the entire time.
And I don't know. It just seems weird and strange. And it's like, Lecrae, what?
Oh, I would.
Really?
Morgan, what?
Morgan, wow, really big argument. The tweet was worded mean and it hurt my feelings.
It
Like,
wasn't
what?
even worded mean at all. It's just calling you all out on your virtue signaling.
Can I? Yeah, exactly. Can I do that for my responses from now on? Every time I'll just like, huh?
Huh? What?
Huh?
Huh?
I would venture to say, and you guys comment what you think, that this is indicative of even a bigger thing going on with Lecrae. And it appears like he is getting caught up in the kind of social justice, these good causes that are very man-made, but often void of God and void of biblical truth.
If you actually look at his tweet, he's talking about helping out poor people. He's talking about caring for people.
He's talking
That's
about
all biblical.
it's
if
all
you look it
biblical
up.
stuff.
It's like care for the poor and the widows.
So this is the first thing I wanted to bring up that's a piece of data, is countries with stricter abortion laws tend to have higher abortion rates. Countries with the most restrictive abortion laws also have the highest rates of abortion, the study by Guttmacher Institute found. Easier access to birth control drives down abortion rates, the report also finds. Okay, yeah. Funding healthcare for women dealt with systemic racism that creates poverty and addresses the income gap. So this one right here, funding healthcare. So when women have access, and it shouldn't just be women, by the way, it should be everyone.
Right.
Easier access to birth control, which is a healthcare thing, drives down abortion rates. So what Lecrae is talking about here is an actual solution to lowering abortion rates. And what Paul and Morgan are saying here is we should just make it illegal. We should just ban it outright, which is unfortunately, I wish that worked, but it's been shown to not.
And it's interesting because I think these are the same type of people who look at socialism and say, oh my gosh, this is so idealistic. They just want a utopia. And it's never going to happen. And we have to be realistic and live in reality. And this is exactly how it applies to them.
Right.
Here they're saying, oh, we want a literal Supreme Court decision to be 100% overturned. And after that, each state it's going to be up to each state. And each state has to make it illegal. And that's what we're advocating for, when in reality, that's not going to happen.
That's not
Landmark
gonna happen.
decisions are rarely overturned. And even if they were, tons of other things would have to happen before their goal is met.
Right.
So why don't you stop virtue signaling? And if you actually care about babies' lives,
then maybe you should actually support
work on real solutions.
Here's a piece of research that goes over the impact of state-level restrictions on abortion. This was tracked in 23 U.S. states after they passed laws restricting the access to abortion for a decade. Similarly, this study found that restrictive abortion laws didn't do anything to abortion rates, which continued their slow but steady decline. Because what's going to happen if what these people want, which is overturning Roe v. Wade, like what you just said, then it'll be up to the states. Then you'll have a few states where it's illegal, and you'll have majority of states most likely where it still is legal. So you'll just see people driving longer to get abortions.
The country with the lowest abortion rate is actually Switzerland, right? Mm-hmm. And they're relatively progressive there.
Yes.
Abortion's legal.
And the place where it's, where it's highest? Pakistan. Not exactly a
woke progressive society.
Yeah.
Things that you can make righteous judgment on. And Lecrae recently came out with a song with John Legend. And if you guys know anything about John Legend, he's...
I'm making a righteous judgment that you's a bitch.
No, stop. So, right now they go into this entire spiel about how they're mad that John Legend and Lecrae collabed
Because
you're
John Lennon
supposed to
isn't
not live in the world if you're actually a
Christian.
singer and a Christian.
If you're a Christian singer, you're supposed to box yourself into a bubble where you only collab with other Christians. I mean, that's clearly what Jesus taught. It had nothing to do with going out into the world, right?
No. Ministry just wasn't a big thing for Jesus. You have to start from the beginning. You can't just be like, oh, someone's pregnant, let's convince them to keep the baby. You have to start from the very beginning. And
why do they even want an abortion,
them,
right?
Give them a really good education, actually lower the wealth inequality between Black and white people. It's all reactive what these people are like calling for. And there is a place to have reactive policy. But what's much more important is to have proactive policy. And it's 100% biblical.
And what they're doing right now is, since they are against a proactive solution to abortion, instead they just are sitting up here talking about how it's their way or the highway, unless it's fully made illegal, which is like you said, it's not going to happen. They can just sit here and virtue signal, look down on everyone else, like Lecrae, who's actually pushing for legitimate real-world solutions.
Right. It is, like what Hunter said, it is very virtue signaling. And if they actually cared about it, which I think they do, I just don't think they've actually made this connection, they should be working to save children's lives at any cost. Because if they believe that a child's life is more important than like a woman's choice, which I think there's a valid argument there.
Same. Yeah.
I think that they need to be like, okay, tax dollars, more money going to actually helping
healthcare, sex
helping
ed.
women actually not need abortions. Like, go for it, let's do it.
Right.
But that's not what's happening, and it's really sad.
I don't really think Paul and Morgan understand that a lot of the times policy is not always intuitively correct. Like, there's always a million unintended consequences when there's certain policies put in place. And so it's just, sometimes the thing that works doesn't always seem like it should work or feel like it will work, but it's not about that. It's about what works when it comes to policy, not your like utopia Christian agenda.
Right. A lot of policy is actually counterintuitive, and that's why you actually need data and studies, which they
don't have.
They
have a 3,000-year-old book.
Blah, blah, blah. What if you blah, blah, blah? The reducing argument, what if we said, well, we just want to reduce the number of slaves. We want to reduce, and this gets really heavy, you guys.
That's what advocates did back then. You had like Harriet Tubman, who helped free slaves. She didn't end it.
That's true. It started with the reduction and then eventually ended.
Yeah, if you're wanting to end it, then you should be working and doing everything you can and finding bipartisan support and solutions that will reduce it initially.
Right.
I'm not saying that you should stop your advocacy to end it.
But, like, imagine if Harriet Tubman was trying to free the slaves,
Like,
and they're like, why don't you try to free all the slaves and pass some legislation, damn it.
You little asshole, you're just freeing 20. What about the rest?
Yeah, what? Are you trying to separate yourself?
Immoral.
But they believe that the way to that is through sex ed classes, through all of these things that, I'll sit here and say I don't agree with those things. I don't believe that that's how ending abortion should come to pass.
But that's a big...
See, notice what she said there was actually really specific. That's not how I think ending abortion should come to pass. There's a way that it's going to end, and there's a way that you want it to end. This makes it into an even bigger virtue signal because now she's against yet another solution to lowering the abortion rate.
It's literally been proven that abstinence and teaching abstinence doesn't work.
Well, there you guys have it. Paul and Morgan, once again, virtue signaling from a Christian perspective.
I understand where their hearts are, and I think they just need to think about it a little more and actually really decide if they care more about their agenda politically or care about children's lives. I recommend you actually talking to Lecrae and just seeing what his experiences have been and how he feels his policy would help someone who grew up in his situation.
So long story short, Paul and Morgan, you are disappointing God. Thanks everybody for watching. Please give this video a like, comment below, and sub to the channel. Hit that bell. Ring-a-ding, ring-ding.
Subscribe, hit the bell.